This is Dolly Diamond and you're watching Studio Q. I'm quite pleased to be saying that we're just about to set sail on a cruise right across the highlights of Melbourne's waters. It's a very exciting cruise and we're just about to meet some of the able-bodied seamen that will be jetting aboard this very luxury yacht. Forget the Titanic, it's more Gilligan's Island, but jump aboard now as we meet some of the fun and festive people that are setting sail on this harbourside cruise. You join me on board now with just Jared. Of course, the king, is it the king of Midsumma? Is that what we call you?
Yeah. That's close enough.
All right. And we're on board. We're getting ready for what can only be described as the cruisiest cruises on the Yarra. And why is it so cruisy?
Well, it's Midsumma's nautical party of the season. It's summer cruise. It's our icon party of the season. And yeah, come on board and get you down and dirty.
Really, what an invitation. And it's not your first time then?
This is our fourth cruise this year.
And it's bigger and better, I believe.
Bigger and better. This year we've got a 600 capacity boat. Last year we sold out at 300, so we thought we'd better double the capacity. More sailors, more mermaid men, and more girls in bikinis, and more fun.
What more do you want? So don't go anywhere because I think we're going to interview some passengers soon. So we must get a rowdy lot on board.
Rattle on board, and they're all waiting outside, so hang around and you'll be able to interview a few.
Oh, hang on. Well, we are literally by the dock of the bay and we have been joined by three gorgeous girls who are going to say their names for me now. Hello.
Jennifer.
Jennifer and
Sue.
Sue and
Cody.
Cody, the three of them. Are you up for a big night?
Yes.
Yes, you're the spokesperson, are you?
Yes.
Oh, we're passing it over.
Yes, we are up for a big night. We take all that there is to offer.
Oh, that's always been my motto. So enjoy yourselves, girls. Have a lovely time, and I'll be finding out. I'll be here waiting for you to find out exactly what went on. I want stories. I want the juice.
What goes on the boat stays on the boat.
Oh, fair enough. Loose lips sink ships. Back with more. joined now by the lovely
Stuart.
Stuart, who's come all the way from Sydney to go cruising here.
Indeed, I'm looking for a good cruise. Is it going to be a good cruise?
Oh, I hope so. It's my first time as well.
And for me too. So.
All right, well, you're ready.
I am indeed.
Both cruise virgins, and
hopefully we'll break our virginity tonight on the boat.
there's a good chance, I'd say.
I'd say so too.
Yes. Stick around. We're going to be seeing more from this young man as the voyage goes on.
Thank you, darling. See you later. Bye.
Well, you join me now on the bridge, or in fact the wheelhouse of the vessel, and I'm joined by Captain Steve. Hello, Steve.
G'day, how are you?
Very well, and you're setting sail in only a few moments' time. It's very exciting, isn't it?
It is, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be a very nice night out there. We'll head off down the Yarra River and then out into Port Phillip Bay, and we'll all have a fantastic night.
Not expecting any choppy seas then?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be a great night out there. Great night will be had by everybody.
I would imagine so. There's about 400 people. Are you ready for 400 people?
Yes, we can carry about 500, so 400's easy. We'll all as long as they have a good time and everybody looks after themselves, it'll be a great night.
That's the spirit, isn't it? With only 43 life jackets on and 400 people, it promises to be a fun and festive cruise, so don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Jo Mullins and you're watching Studio Q. Tonight I'm speaking with Jade Starr. Jade is a transgendered singer-songwriter who's down here performing in Midsumma. Jade, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me along here in beautiful Chapel Street on a lovely night full of bogans and lovely people. It's great to be back in Melbourne.
You're down for Midsumma. What prompted you to come down to perform in Midsumma?
Initially, I'd already played at Feast in Adelaide, and I was playing at Mardi Gras in Sydney, and thought, why not come down to Melbourne and be a part of the gay, lesbian, transgender community here? But I thought I'd do something a bit different and hit the straight bars and do some rock gigs, and yeah, it's been really confronting. It's been great, actually.
Cool. Been confronting in what way?
Probably because I was born here. I lived most of my life here and moved to Sydney 3 years ago. And I've seen a lot of old friends and had to deal with them seeing me again for the first time in 3 years, and seeing the complete difference in gender and all that's happened. And I suppose hitting straight clubs and playing music and not being involved in that really intense gay scene, which is so lovely and great, and yeah, it's been really confronting, because I think lots of people have used my old name and stuff, and got my gender wrong, which they're trying. And there's a half an hour rule I use with old friends. It's like, you got half an hour. If you're still getting it wrong in half an hour, then you're not my friend anymore. I'm moving on. So
That sounds fair enough to me. Do you think that many people understand that it's quite different being a transgendered performance artist from being a drag queen?
Oh, well, I mean, we're living in a day and age where people are starting to get their head around it. But, I mean, you're still surrounded with stuff like the internet where, I mean, if you type transvestite or transsexual into Google, you're going to come up with 100,000 websites on porn. And unfortunately, the straight population is still being fed this idea that we're all prostitutes, we're all chicks with dicks, and that's the scope of it. I mean, and so many people still are going transvestite, transsexual, they don't know the difference. I think in some parts of the gay community, they're starting to understand more the lesbian community. There seems to be a bit of a better understanding of what's going on.
What if we turn now to your music? The name of your show is Dread Circus.
Yeah.
How did you get the name?
In my previous male life, I performed in death metal bands, and we were quite excessive and extreme, and like I would be playing a guitar going, that was my singing voice back then. It was quite full on, and my nickname was Dread from 15 till the transitional period, I guess, 3 years ago. So that reflects that part of who I was, and the circus is, the band is ever changing. There's permanent members, and as you see in Melbourne, I've got a completely different lineup than what I have in Sydney. So this is a different section of the circus.
So what sort of music style do you play now that you've moved on from the death metal days?
It's acoustic rock. It's basic acoustic rock, simple chords. We call it the cornflakes factor because it's a very simple structured form of music. It's more the message these days than the actual music, is stripping back the layers of categories and labels that people have to essentially realize we're all human. And if I cut your arm and I cut my arm, we both bleed and we all go to the toilet and we all need to eat. And when you strip back all those and you get back to that basic crux of the idea, then maybe we could fix the planet.
So you write all of your own music. Has the style or the themes of your writing changed since you transitioned?
Yeah, definitely. Back in the day when I didn't really understand what it was that was the problem in my life that was holding me back for so long, I just thought it was my girlfriend leaving me all the time. So it was always about, no, she left me, oh no, oh this one left me, I'm lost in love, always about love. And when I started transition, I started to think I'm actually writing about myself, that I'm not actually getting it together with the girl of my dreams who is me. And I moved away from Melbourne and met my partner and really had a new perspective on writing, and really was away from the music scene, had a whole new lease of life with my boyfriend who gave me opportunities. I became a HIV counsellor, I went back to university, then I started a new job. I started to write much more empowering stuff and head back to that self-awareness. And
oh, you, baby,
Jade, we've just seen you performing. How was the crowd tonight?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was so amazing to connect with so many mixed genders and sexualities, and to get the response afterwards and people coming up saying how they actually listened to the words. And there was a couple of straight boys who came up and said one of the most amazing things. One of them touched me on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, that perfect world that you're dreaming of, it's not far away." And to hear that made all the trouble outside when we were doing the early interview kind of fade away.
What is it that drives you to perform? You've been performing since you were about 13?
Yeah. It used to be for fame and success. It was all about that. Now there's a completely different goal. It's about this making change. It's about making people aware. It's about sending somebody home with a better understanding of themselves, hopefully, and not of me, because I'm me, and I'm always going to be me, and everyone else is always going to be themselves. And if they can walk away from a show understanding themselves and their prejudices and their beliefs and work on these things a bit better, then my goal's done.
For all those who are interested, where can they find out more about you?
www.dreadcircus.com, which takes you to my MySpace page, and you can contact me there, you can email me, listen to my music, see my photos, do whatever the hell you want, and I'll be in touch.
Thanks, Jade.
No problems.
You're watching Studio Q. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to Q Focus. I'm Mark, joined once again by Doug Pollard.
Evening.
Collette Corr and Tim Newton. Thanks, guys, for coming back.
Pleasure.
Now, tonight we're going to be talking about civil registers, and Melbourne is about to...
Partnerships.
Melbourne,
sorts, yes.
Melbourne is about to get their own.
Yes. The City of Melbourne is floating the idea of a civil partnerships recognition register. Civil Partnerships Recognition Register. And if you're interested and you reside in the City of Melbourne, now is the time to get on the bandwagon, because already some Christian groups, particularly the Salt Shakers, are writing in to say that they protest about it. Yes, as usual. Look, they've got to do something, okay? They've run out of scone baking and quilt making, and so they're just attacking homosexuality as per usual. There's also some interest from the City of Stonington and the City of Yarra. So it could be on the board. What do we think?
This is just tokenism. It means nothing. We've got all these well-meaning local governments trying to give us a piece of paper to go, oh, we're registered, we've got our names together on a piece of paper. It means nothing. It means nothing to anybody. It has no legal standing. It's just a waste of time.
It'll probably give you a little tag to put on your collar as well.
It does have some legal standing in that...
What legal standing does it have?
It's a really good way to help prove that you are in a de facto relationship.
How does it prove it?
Well, you've bothered to show up and hold hands and maybe wear some nice, I don't know, carnations in your lapel.
But you're saying that can prove that you've been in a relationship, but you can just show up on that day and just say that you've been with someone for 5-6 years.
There could be some kind of Centrelink rorting going on with the whole civil partnerships thing.
Tokenism or not, but I mean, they've had one of these in Sydney for, 5 years? Something like that. In 5 years, 40 couples have signed up, which gives you some idea of what most of us think about the relationship registers. They don't have any legal force. They don't give you any rights. They don't. It is a piece of tokenism. The point about doing it is to put political pressure. This is the argument we're getting now. It's if more and more councils do this, then state governments and the federal government will eventually say, oh look, everybody wants to get registered, we'd better give them marriage. Or
gee, it's really worked. In Sydney, they've had it for 5 years. They've had 40 couples sign up. It looks like the gay and lesbian community are avoiding it like the plague.
But this is the way to try and get legislation changed. This is the way it works from the ground up. Governments are pragmatic. If enough people are interested in same-sex partnerships, making them legal, then they know that they have to change their laws.
Exactly.
Despite what the Salt Shakers say.
But do you think that because if they introduce this register, that's it's going to shut us up? That it's like we'll be satisfied with that, or
No, it's very much. It's very much. It's a game that you're playing with the government. You want same-sex marriage. This is a step towards it. You show the interest. You say this is a group that's not going to go away. We want to get married. We want it now.
Hasn't
and
worked.
in the meantime, we're going to have a civil.
Hasn't worked.
Well, it's because the name's very long. I've already forgotten what it is.
But it doesn't even work when it does
Partnership
have legal
register.
force. It doesn't even work when it does have legal force. I mean, Tasmania has a relationship recognition scheme. It has legal force. It gives you the same rights as, virtually the same rights as being married within the state of Tasmania. That's been running for several years too. It's state law. Fewer than 100 couples have signed up to it. I mean, I know the population of Tasmania is not large, but there's got to be more than 100 couples there.
But also, it's reflecting a general trend that less and less people are getting married, and they're getting married later.
Mark, I'd have to say that if the governments, and they are pragmatic governments, if they thought there was a groundswell of support for civil unions for gay and lesbian people, it would be on the books already because people would be voting for it. The fact is, and it seems to come out in polls time and time again, that generally the support isn't there for the governments to do that. If it was, we'd have it already, but it just isn't there. The support isn't there.
There's just been a poll published during Mardi Gras, which was put together by New South Wales Gay and Liberation, Gay and Lesbian.
What, they spoke to 1,000 gay and lesbian people?
They did a survey in Sydney and New South Wales.
Oxford Street, perhaps?
I don't know where they went for these people, but it was something like 41% wanted gay marriage of the people they spoke to, and another 20% or so wanted some form of legal recognition. But there wasn't very much support for just a register to sign that didn't have any impact.
But once you get that number over 50%, governments are going to suddenly become interested. But the polls just don't show the Australian community behind it yet.
The last poll that was done actually showed about 53%, if I remember rightly, in favour of some form of recognition of gay and lesbian partnerships, but there was no agreement on what that recognition could be. And I think that's the problem. The supporters are divided.
But what our local councils are doing at the moment, Mark, is really just tokenism. And it's not really, it's not solving the problem. And I don't believe it's putting any pressure on the state or federal governments.
But that's all the local governments can do. I mean, it's not their jurisdiction.
Councils got nothing better to do than come up with this feel-good sort of crap that doesn't really do anything for the gay and lesbian community at all.
If people are feeling romantic and there's the registers available, at least they've got
What's romantic about a register?
Yeah,
Get the chocolates.
What's romantic about a wedding? I mean, that's what a wedding is, just signing.
I think it's just token. I think it's like it's something just to shut us up. So they'll give us that, and we'll be happy, and we won't want to fight for, to get married.
I don't think that's why the local governments are doing it. They're doing it because they're trying to apply pressure on the state government.
They're not. They're trying to sort of look like they're attending to the needs of their local constituency, especially the gay and lesbian people. It's tokenism.
What could they do instead, though? It's out of their jurisdiction. Nothing.
Do nothing. Right to the state and the federal governments, because they're the ones that have to make the change.
Maybe they should reduce parking fines or parking
Good
fees.
idea. Yes.
$3 an hour in the city of Port Phillip the other day.
Well, this could be a nice little earner for the state, for the city government, because I think they're going to charge you about $40 to register.
It's cheaper than registering a dog, which is nice. You can do it at the same time.
40 or $50, I think, is what they're thinking about charging you.
Do you have to have your shots before you get registered?
Right. And like I said, do you get a little tag? Do you get a tag to wear so you don't get swept up by the thought police?
You slip it on your little collar if you're in it.
Matching tattoos, that's always romantic.
The last
that
thing
works
we
out
need,
so well for Brittany and
the last thing we need is another register, more paperwork, more numbers, and more people putting numbers into computers. Apart from being tokenism, it's a waste of time and money.
And well, it's already been proven in Sydney because there's only been 40 couples. So why would you even waste time and money setting it up here?
Yeah.
And what pressure is it put on the state government there?
I don't think
Zero.
I think it makes. The other people, of course, it helps are our own gay and lesbian politicians, in people like the Victorian and the New South Wales Gay and Lesbian Rights Lobby, because it makes them look like they've done something. It makes them look like they've achieved something.
If there were vast numbers of people registering for this, if there were a vast number of people registering for these partnerships, then it would do something.
But that's a big
front page news. Yeah, I mean, you can't really, just get along and register. Go on.
They did the same thing in the UK. Lots of cities like Brighton and Manchester and
Fluffy,
London
feel-good
and others.
cities.
Ones with large gay and lesbian populations. They had registration schemes. They ran for several years. Maybe 10, 15, 20 couples signed up to it. They brought
Somebody answer the bloody phone.
It's for us. The calls have already started coming through.
They brought in civil unions in the UK, and national level, same rights and responsibilities as marriage, and they were swamped in the rush of people who wanted to sign up because it was for real. They didn't care about the registration stuff. As soon as they could get a real relationship register going at national level, bang, everybody was on board.
Yeah, no use calling us. You might as well call the City of Melbourne.
All right.
All right, that's all we have time for. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you do have any comments, you can always email us at feedback@bentv.org.au. Thanks for watching. Doug, Collette and Tim, we'll see you next time. Bye.